Hey, welcome to the Dafrogtoad channel. Man, I haven't done much on this in a while, but for those of you who are following this one, or remember, there's a whole lot more going on the Toadstead project. I'll try to remember to leave a link in the bottom. But there are people still out following on this channel, so I want to throw something out here once in a while, give you an idea what's going on. But let me properly plug the Toadstead project, because out there we're going to be talking about gardening and just whatever we're doing building the homestead. But this one is about the trucks. For those of you who've been around for a long time, you know that we have the F-150 over there, and it's park truck. And the question was, which would make a better farm truck? This one here, which is obviously it's a full-size F-150, mid-80s, 6-cylinder, granny low. The neat thing about this one is I'm the second owner, and it's only got 80,000 miles on it. So that's pretty cool. But the other option was, through some weird trading and all that stuff, we ended up with this 1990 Ford Ranger. This is the last one with the little Pinto engine in it. It's got the Mazda 5-speed. It's a two-wheel drive. And, well, we knew we were going to have to modify either truck to do what we wanted to do. So we decided to modify this one. Finished this a couple of weeks ago, and we've been using it. And people were asking about how this truck was going on the other channel. So I figured I'd throw it out here and threw something out on the other channel. But hey, give you an idea for you Dafrogtoad folks what we did here. This is actually kind of fun because there's a lot of stuff cobbled together. This was done very, very much on the cheap. So let's get into it. The bed itself is just 1.5 inch angle iron. Very little more than that. In fact, I paid $16 for the, I think I got two 20-foot sections. And a friend of mine had given me, just in coincidence, several years ago, another piece which ended up being the top of my little mini headache rack. So by the time we got done with this, there was maybe 6 inches of steel left over. It worked out perfect. And can't see it because of the bed, but you can see the rows. And yeah, I know I'm shadowing it. I don't want the sun in the camera. You can see the rows of carriage bolts. And that gives you an idea of basically where the cross pieces are. And then here on the back of the truck, you can see where the other two longitudinal pieces are. As far as getting it to the bed, I guess you can probably see that kind of brownish metal. That's 4-inch by 2-inch in construction metal. That was the stuff that when you sliced it into small L pieces is what was used to put the braces for the studs inside the building. And this was just left over from that procedure. So we've got 6 of those holding up the bed. And yeah, I put it on with self-tapping sheet metal screws and then welded it after that. And there's a big longer piece out front that's a brace going across, and then same thing in the back, which gave a brace and a place to put the backup lights, which I'll show you in a few minutes. As far as the bed, it's decking board. Same kind of stuff you'd buy to, put a deck around your pool or whatnot. And I think it's 1 inch thick, or is it 5/4? I can't remember right offhand. But it's that rounded corner stuff. It's pressure treated. And yeah, is it light duty? Yeah, but so is the truck. This is not a 3/4 ton Ford or Chevy that you're going to be hoisting diesel engines up into. This is just a little farm truck that we're using to haul some lumber, animal feed. Just this is where we can put the big icky stuff that we certainly don't want to put in our everyday car, which is that Yukon up there. So it works. Is it beautiful? Is it all kinds of sexy and all that? No. But you know, you turn the key, it goes down the road, and more importantly, this thing, when we got it, had a 6.5-foot bed, which, you know, to me, having a truck with anything less than an 8-foot bed is just as useful as bull teats. It just has no, if it can't carry an 8-foot piece of lumber or 4 or 5 sheets of plywood, then I don't want it. So we, of course, extended this bed out to 8 feet, and proportionally, you really can't tell. You have to look close. But yeah, that worked out really well for us. And as far as lights, we did what a lot of people who do these flatbed conversions do. Yeah, trailer lights. Wired them in, everything is perfect. The only thing we had to change, and you can see them right up there, those are white LED lights that during one of the, there was a big business closing, I can't remember, Camping World bought out one of the big sports suppliers, and they had a sale, and I got like 50 of these things for 10 bucks up in Huntsville, Alabama. Different colors and all that, but I got a bunch of them. And those are white and perfectly legal for the reverse lights. Now, there's more stuff to do on this. It's not going to be a big towing vehicle, but we are going to go put a small hitch on it. And, oh, the mud flaps. Those, I have mud flaps. They were made from a mud flap. Several years ago, my girlfriend and I were in the truck stop. And no, actually, we were in a rest area out in the middle of nowhere in Texas. Got out, walked around, and there was one mud flap, you know, big truck mud flap, that looked relatively new. And I think what had happened is that the driver had backed up and maybe hit the curb, got it caught between the tire and the curbing, and ripped it off, because that's all that was wrong with it. Essentially, the mud flap was brand new, but all the screws were ripped out. And maybe he didn't even notice it and just drove off. But we found the mud flap, and being the kind of people we are, we just threw it in the car, and we were able to, a couple of years later, we needed mud flaps for our little farm truck, and we're able to cut a matched set of mud flaps out of that one. And around here, you know, we almost budget, about every 3 years, we budget a new windscreen for our cars. Because down here in this part of South Mississippi, a lot of rocks get thrown around. A lot of them. In fact, there's I got a friend's truck parked here, my Yukon, this one, even that truck, which hasn't been on the road for several years, and even little Crunchy way over there, that little Toyota. Every single one of them's got a rock dent in it. Some kind of chip out of it. It's just kind of the way it is. But what does the truck need? Well, it needs shocks, because it's a little on the bouncy side. It needs a new exhaust, because I think the previous owner used this thing for a mud bogging truck. You probably can't see it very well in the video, but just forward of the muffler, that's actually a piece of street sign metal that he welded in. And it sounds a little bit like a cement mixer. So I'll fix that. And you know, other than that, you know, I threw a new set of headlights in it. Thank you, LMC, because they carry everything I need for this thing. And while perusing Craigslist, oh, this is about 6-7 months ago, there was somebody who'd gotten a late model Mazda and didn't like the wheels and tires. And they were essentially, you know, the old-fashioned Steelies with really nice, almost new tires on. I think he bought the truck from a dealer who'd put new tires on it, drove it for a couple of weeks, then swapped them out for, his truck was a 4-wheel drive, I think. So it had, he wanted to get up in air. But the upshot of it is the Toadstead ended up with 4 almost brand new tires with the Steely wheels, which I wanted, and the hubcaps for 200 bucks. And the only reason I haven't stuck the hubcaps on is the only lug nuts I had were those tall acorn style. And I'm not going to go out and buy, pardon me, I'm not going to go out and buy a whole set of lug nuts to put the baby moons on. Sometime when I'm down at the junkyard for something else, likely that, I'll go ahead and acquire some lug nuts, and then we'll put the baby moons on it and give it that, hey, I'm an old Ford look. But it works. The air conditioning's there. Going to work on that next. All the bits are there, just for some reason isn't working. But around here, when your air conditioning's not working, you can almost guarantee it's going to be $1,000. It doesn't matter what's wrong with it. They're going to want $1,000. So I'll play with this myself this summer, see what I can do before I succumb to that. But, you know, quite frankly, it's a parts hauler. It's a local truck feed. It's got those two big glass things in the side that roll down. And at 50 miles an hour, it stays plenty cool. So for now, you know, air conditioning's a vanity. But that's where we are with this little one. And again, I want to thank all y'all from the Dafrogtoad channel that stopped by. It's really nice to see some of you, especially the gun people and the knife people. I will be doing some more of that in the future. But if you want to see what's going on in the Dafrogtoad world, come on over to the Toadstead project and you'll see a whole lot more. All right, see you then and maybe here. Bye-bye.